the Huawei P40 Pro, it's got its very own render going on, and 7 cameras. What? Holy moly, 7 cameras.
How many sensors?
2 on the front. And does that mean if there's 2 on the front, there's 5 on the back? Is that what they're trying to tell us? That would equal 7.
Mm-hmm.
2 plus 5. Kirk?
Quick math.
Jack? So you got 7 as well? I'm glad. That makes 3 of us. Casper got 7 as well? No, he's looking at me like it's 8. He's giving me an 8 look. What can I say? I'm looking at this render. Oh, by the way, shout out to Evan Blass. He's responsible for this particular leak. I look at this, and I mean, it's really amazing that this is obviously our future, is these enormous camera bumps sticking out the back. And it's funny because there was a moment where it felt like it wasn't going to go that way. And that moment was the previous Pixel, which was they went with a single camera, and it was all computational. It was like, whoa. But something weird about that phone was then it had 2 cameras on the front for the wide selfie.
Yeah.
It didn't even know what its own identity was, saying we can do everything with 1 camera on the back. The front will give you 2. So it was kind of strange. But it did seem as though everything was going to happen in software. They'd figure it out. You would figure out Zoom. Somehow it was going to happen.
Can I ask you a question about the Pixel really quick?
Yeah.
You had the 3 and the 4. Do you
I had
notice
them
a
all.
difference between the 3 and the 4 camera-wise, even though the 4 has that extra lens on the back?
Yeah, no, definitely in Google's case, most of the fancy stuff that's happening is on the software side. But I think the unexpected part was how much the average person was going to embrace the idea of the interchangeable lens life. How much they were going to click on a wide angle and say, oh, that's like with the iPhone, the latest iPhone. You see regular people out in public, they love the wide angle.
I love it too. It looks amazing.
They're posting from a wide angle now. And so I think it wasn't necessarily always obvious that people were going to like features like that. I mean, obviously, some of these now might ship with macro. I think the wide was the main play. LG did it a long time ago, and no one cared, probably because it was a small time release. It was a small market phone in the sense compared to things like the S series from Samsung or the iPhone. So people didn't really talk about it. But I was talking about it back then. I said the wide angle is the one that you need on there. And I wasn't the only one. A lot of people thought that. Fit more people in the frame. I love the wide angle on the front of the Pixel. It was the only way I would use a front camera is if I could take a group shot, which that happens in real life. People say, take a photo, commemorate the event.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It happened in real life. So it turns out everybody, the general public, embraced this concept. And so now the iPhone's got more cameras than you might have expected at one point in time. The upcoming S20 phones are going to have an incredible set of camera options. And same thing for this Huawei device. We're all carrying interchangeable lens camera systems now without having to physically change the lenses, but just doing so in software.
Yeah. Yeah. Is 5 too much, though? Don't you just need a wide, a medium, and a telescope?
No, because now people want the macro. People are talking about macro potential. There's going to... butterflies!
Right. Leaves, flowers,
Butterflies
raindrops.
exist. And, of course, they're counting the 2 on the front there, Kirk, as well.
Right,
So
okay.
you also get the wide and the portrait on the front. So it's really wild. But they are, of course, all going to end up looking similar because, I mean, what other way are you going to jam all these cameras on there other than by sticking a rectangle into a rectangle? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're going to get into rectangle inside of rectangle territory if we need this many cameras. An interesting thing about this render, you still see the periscope lens, which was that crazy wild lens design from previous Huawei devices. It's still represented there. So that's pretty cool. You also see the Leica branding. So that relationship apparently still exists, even in the absence of an ongoing Google relationship. Leica is still in the game. They're still down to ride.
Leica can go on any camera.
Yeah, they can go anywhere. This, you know what? This one, the details here is that this particular array is going to be capable of 18 to 240 millimeter equivalents. So a huge, huge range.
That's better than the RX, Sony RX.
Yeah. So again, the death of the point and shoot continues, or any camera that isn't a smartphone for that matter. Though there may be some degree of fancy software stuff in that zoom range there. We don't know yet. This is just a render for the time being. Anyway, it's coming out soon. It wants to get added to the party of upcoming smartphones. OnePlus, Samsung can't have all the fun. Don't forget about Huawei. They just got to sort out their Google stuff, and then you're going to be looking at one of the more interesting cameras for 2020.